Hello everyone, welcome back one more time to our channel, and today we are going to continue with the second chapter of class 9 history, and this will be the sixth video. And earlier we have already done 5 videos, and the name of the lesson is Socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. So also would like to say that there is a playlist. We can see many videos out there where so many subjects are also there, mainly English, but we are also thinking of uploading videos of political science and also geography and history. We have already given the lessons of class 9 and 10, so we'll try to do that later on. But now today let us concentrate on the main thing, that is the civil war. 4.1, the civil war. We'll try to understand what happened during that time. So when the Bolsheviks, the people, those who were under the leadership of Vladimir Lenin, ordered land redistribution, that land should be distributed among the peasants, the Russian army began to break up. Why? Because many soldiers who had joined the army were actually peasants. Mostly they were peasants and farmers, but they actually had to go to fight in the war. They said that when we are getting the land back, they wished to go back home for the redistribution, and they deserted the army. Non-Bolshevik socialist liberals and the supporters of autocracy condemned and criticized the Bolshevik uprising. They said that it is not good for the country as the soldiers will be living, and this uprising is going to harm the country. Their leaders moved to South Russia and organized troops to fight the Bolsheviks. And the Bolsheviks were defined as the Reds, because the color red was associated with the Bolsheviks here. So during 1918 and 1919, these 2 years, the Greens, here we find another color, the Greens, that is the Socialist revolutionaries were identified by the green color, and Whites were the pro-Tsarist. Pro-Tsarist means the supporters of the Tsar or the supporters of the king. Here you can find out easily red color. If you see red, let me clear all this. Now red color, if you find red color in the Russian Revolution, you will find that they are Bolsheviks. They are the supporters of Bolsheviks and Bolsheviks. And green color is associated with the Socialist revolutionaries, and white color refers to the Tsar, that is the king, and the supporters of the king, that is the pro-Tsarist. Here it is referred to as pro-Tsarist. Now these 3 colors, red, green and white, will be easily identifiable as Bolsheviks and Socialist and the supporters of Tsar. Okay, so now let us see what is told here. Here you can find that these people, the greens and the whites, controlled most of the Russian empire at the time, and they also were backed or supported by the French people and the American government and the British and the Japanese troops also. So all these French, American, British and Japanese troops or armies, all of those forces who were worried at the growth of socialism in Russia, because when socialism will grow, their countries might have to suffer. As these troops and the Bolsheviks fought a civil war, like looting was there, banditry, like dacoits took away the things from there, and things were looted, people's houses were looted, shops were looted, and dacoits took forcibly all the things, and famine, where there was no food and no hunger everywhere, starvation, people died because of low food consumption, there was no food available. These became common during the civil war. And supporters of the private property among the whites, that is the Tsarist, took harsh steps with the peasants who had seized the land. So those peasants or the farmers who had forcefully taken the land from the aristocrats or the whites or the clergymen, they were now given punishment. Harsh steps were taken with like punishment, different types of punishment were given to the peasants. Like such action led to the loss of the popular support for the non-Bolsheviks, and as they did all this, the supporters of the non-Bolsheviks and the people were hated by the people now. Why? Because the peasants began to dislike them. By January 1920, these Bolsheviks controlled most of the former Russian Empire. As a result, when the non-Bolsheviks were hated, the Tsarist and the socialist revolutionaries were like people, they were hated that time. They controlled and they tried to start. The Bolsheviks began to cooperate with the non-Russian nationalities and the Muslim Jadidis. So here we come to the non-Russian. Here you can say, like when USSR was there at the time, Union Soviet of Socialist Republic, under that Russian Empire, 15 more countries were there together, and these nationalities all began to be counted as one. And the Muslim Jadidis are the Muslim reformers, or the rich people who used to like wanted a change or modern system in the religion of Islam. So cooperation did not work where the Russian colonists found themselves turned Bolshevik. Now, here we come to know that where the Russian colonists were there, the people, those who were trying to control others, they themselves turned or followers of Bolsheviks here. They also referred that we are Bolsheviks. Like in Khiva and in Central Asia, and Bolshevik colonists brutally massacred, killed very badly, very like in a very cruel manner, the local nationalists in the name of defending socialism. And these colonists, those who tried to control the other people, the local people, they were murdered by them. Why? Because they said that we are supporting socialism, so we are going to be very much strict with them, those who are doing any kind of wrong like that. So in this situation, many were confused at what the Bolshevik government represented. In one hand, they are saying that we want to be giving land to the people and all these things, etc. On the other hand, these people took the advantage, some Russian colonists, and they tried to murder and killed, massacred the people. Partly to remedy this, most non-Russian nationalities were given political autonomy. Autonomy means here the right to govern themselves in the Soviet Union, at that time USSR, and combined Russian empire. And the state the Bolsheviks created from the Russian empire in 1922, the Tsar was removed, and at that time what happened, the Russian empire was made the Soviet Union in December 1992. But since this was combined with unpopular policies everywhere, that is why the Bolsheviks formed a local government to follow, and the harsh discouragement of the nomadism. Now, nomadism is what? Nomadism is the way how the people used to live. They do not stay permanently in one place, but they keep on moving from one place to another. So these Bolsheviks forced the local government to follow some attempts to win over the different nationalities, and these were, however, only partly successful. Why? Because the people, those who were following nomadism, they were discouraged that you must settle down, you must be in one particular village or one particular place, and you must be permanent settlers. So all these things were not so much accepted among the different nationalities, and they were hardly criticized. They were like followed, but they were partly successful, not successful in full attempt, in full way. So these are the things that we come to know here about the non-Russian nationalities, how they were given political power and autonomy, and how they tried to make the USSR, that is Union of Soviet Socialist Republic. Now, nomadism, here it is given lifestyle of those who do not live in one place but move from one area to another to earn their living. Like they keep the animals, like animal herders, goat herders, and they permanently keep on moving from one place to another every season. Here one activity you can do. Why do people in Central Asia did respond to the Russian Revolution in different ways? You can find out by yourself. Here is the source, you can read here. Central Asia and the October Revolution, two views were there, different kinds of views were there, etc. Now let us not read that, you can read it by yourself. Let us go to the main here, 4.2, making a socialist society. So let us find out what happened, how the society became socialist. Earlier we already came to know that the government was a socialist. The government became a socialist government. But how did the society, the people became acquainted with the idea of socialism? Let's try to understand about that also. So here 4.2, here we come to know how to how they made a socialist society. During the civil war, the Bolsheviks kept industries and banks nationalized. They kept them nationalized only. Then they permitted the peasants to cultivate the land that had been socialized. So all the land which was under the social custody of the people, they were unitedly owners of that land, they could easily cultivate that. Bolsheviks used confiscated land, the land they had taken forcefully, the confiscated from others, to demonstrate what collective work could be, and they presented this land to others so that collectively they could do farming and they could do different kinds of farm related works there. A process of centralized planning from the main center government was introduced, and officials assessed how the economy would work, and they set targets for 5-year period. So they made a plan that within this 5 year, what can we achieve, how can we improve the farming, how can we improve the agriculture of our country. So on this basis only they made the 5-year plans also, and the government fixed all prices to promote the industrial growth during the first two plans. And the first two plans will come to know here which year to which year. And let's go down, and here there's a box, you can read yourself, the socialist cultivation in a village in Ukraine. And I was saying about the 5-year plans. The first 5-year plan was started in 1927 up to 1932, again from 1933 to 1938. Centralized planning led to economic growth, and there was a good news, and economy increased, economy improved. Industrial production also increased between 1929 and 1933 by 100% in the case of certain commodities like oil and coal and steel, etc. New factory cities also came into being. Now cities were also growing up, where the people were getting the facilities of different new things and benefits also they were getting. Now, however, let us see, rapid construction led to poor working conditions. But the people, those who were working in these factories, the cities that were coming up, the working condition of the people were poor. Why? Because we can see one example here in the city of Magnitogorsk. So Magnitogorsk was a city, that is an industrial city. The construction of a steel plant was achieved in 3 years. And within 3 years only, one steel plant, one steel factory was set up. Workers lived hard lives. They had so many sufferings and problems in their life, and result was 550 stoppages of work in the first year alone. In the first year only, within 3 years it was achieved, but in the first year only 550 times the work of this steel plant was stopped due to different reasons. In the living quarters where the workers used to stay, in the winter time it was very cold, like minus 40 degree below the temperature went, and people at that time, they did not have any attached bathrooms and all. So people had to climb down from the fourth floor and dash and run across the street in order to go to the toilet and to for the basic needs and for the bathroom, etc. So here you can understand that minus 40 degree, how much cold it will be. Like, it is very extremely cold here. Here is a picture of the factory, how it came to be seen as a symbol of socialism. Here the poster also states the smoke from the chimneys is the breathing of Soviet Russia. So let's go to another part and we'll find about schooling system. An extended schooling system also developed at that time, and children went to school, and arrangements were made for the factory workers and peasants to enter universities. If they wanted to study higher studies, then they could, factory workers and peasants, they could enter the universities also. Creche means here the places where the mothers took their children. They could keep their children there in the creche, in the care center, day care center for the babies while they would work. They were established in the factories for the children of the women to be taken care of. Cheap public health care was also provided. Model living quarters were also set up for the workers, and the effect of all this was very uneven, though, since government resources were limited. So there was some kind of development, there were some facilities, however it was not equal in all the places. Now you can see some pictures here. This is figure 15 children at school in Soviet Russia in the 1930s, and they are studying the Soviet economy. This is the representation, or you can see the picture. This is a real picture. And another one, a child in Magnitogorsk during the first 5-year plan is working there. And another one picture you can find here. This picture was the dining hall that you could see, and another, this picture I told you earlier, this is the factories that came to be seen as a picture of symbolism, and this is some Russian language here that is written, and the smoke began to come out from the chimneys, and it covered the most of the part of Soviet Russia. So this is what we came to know about this part, and this is one picture. As I told you, this is one uh, source. You can see the factory dining hall I had told you, and these are the dreams and realities of a Soviet childhood in 1933. What a child wanted. So this is what we'll try to understand. Now we'll go to the next one, that is Stalinism and like collectivization. So another one leader was there, that is Stalin. So we'll read about him, but we'll read that in the next video. I hope all of you have understood. You can go to the video one more time. Till that time, you can read, and thank you. Bye.